The stream. Difficult to navigate. Impossible to survive. That was what everyone told Madison since she was a child. Nobody wanted to end up off their own ship when the time came for them to die. Best to take the blade or bullet intended for them. Nobody knew what exactly happened to people who ended up in the depths of it, but the sadists of the universe like to come up with theories. People in the stream spent decades dying thanks to the time dilation they experienced. They were torn to pieces, shredded, skinned, and forced to die of hunger and thirst. 100 different forms of death. The kind she had no intention of experiencing herself. One she didn't want her crew to experience either. If they were going to spend that long dying, they could be saved. She didn't know what they would experience if they were dragged from the stream, but everything she read told her it was technically possible. She would work her way through everything in the universe to find them, if possible. Her crew. Madison still didn't know what to make of the situation. She expected them to depose her and put someone better in charge of the Gypsy Rose, especially after they got their fortune and had everything lined up for a proper living. But they hadn't. When she spread the word to the crew that they were heading back out with a job in mind, every last one reported back to the ship. Most were hungover, and others were still drunk, but they turned up to fight. She gave them orders, and they followed. She didn't push orders on Dag or Nimis, but they knew how to keep their areas of the ship running without her interference. They'd found their first job less than a month after she'd turned Arthur's head in. It wasn't easy work, but it paid well enough for the crew to stay trashed for another month. She sought out more work and continued the cycle. She kept looking for their lost members, too. She could have sworn she heard their screaming in the dull roar of the stream, but it was impossible to tell for sure. Madison called them back to work, and they came. The more daubs they gathered, the more she expected them not to return when the messages went out. A few didn't, but the vast majority continued to serve. A few had even started to call her captain, although she couldn't tell if they were doing it out of respect or only tugging her line. It didn't matter. As long as they followed her orders and did their duties, they would earn their money. There was plenty of work for them out in the universe, but she didn't like being drawn away from those they wanted to save. "You're doing it again." Madison sighed and scowled. Dag was a little too sharp for her tastes. He called her out whenever she was too deep in thought. "Doing what again?" He settled into a seat beside her and rubbed his stump. "You spend a lot of time wearing an expression like that. I can smell your brain cooking. What's got you in a mood this time?" "You need to shut your mouth." Madison shook her head. She only half meant it, but they had a lot to work out between them. "We've been at this for 9 months. Why am I still captain of the Gypsy Rose?" "Because nobody better is willing to step up to the position." He shrugged. "Do you want to step down?"